Epic finish in Colorado. Colorado State down 43-35. Second overtime, 4th and goal. This is their last chance. A penalty drives them back. And now they've got to go for the end zone here. Jay Norvell coaching up his team. This is what it looked like in the dying moments in Boulder, Colorado. The rivalry renewed. We're looking for a play, a bonkers game as they set up here. Penalty after penalty after penalty driving the Rams back. Braden Fowler-Nicolosi looking to make yet another play for the Rams. The snap. This is dramatic. I mean, this was dramatic. To the end zone, and it's picked off by Trevor Woods. That's how it ended. The Rocky Mountain Showdown indeed. 43-35 in double overtime. We showed you how it went down. Shedeur Sanders, 38 of 47, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, an interception. Coach Prime said they played like hot garbage to start this game, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong about that. There is a lot to unpack here. Shedeur Sanders driving Colorado 98 yards with 2 minutes to play to tie the game at 28 with a 2-point conversion. Then they go to double overtime and win it 43-35. Also, they did this without Travis Hunter, who was injured in the first quarter after taking a late hit, taken to the hospital, and Colorado wins in dramatic fashion 43-35 in double OT. For reaction, welcome in. Big game, Dennis Dodd. And Dennis, this game was big. It was massive. Your reaction to what you watched in Boulder, Colorado on this night?
Hakeem, so many things to unpack here. You're right. Colorado State, I thought, came into this game with a chip on their shoulder. That was reflected by 17 penalties. I counted 9 personal fouls, and the most outstanding one you mentioned is the hit by Henry Blackburn on Travis Hunter that sent him to the hospital. But, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Colorado State never was disciplined enough to take this game. And when it was on the line, Shedeur Sanders, who again is going to shoot to the top of the Heisman list after an incredible performance today by Pac-12 quarterbacks, in the last 3 possessions, figure this out, 9 of 12, 152 yards, 3 touchdowns, including that 98-yard drive at the end to tie it. And it's just incredible. Almost 500 yards by Colorado State. Should mention Torrey Horton. People don't know who he is. A transfer from Nevada for Colorado State. 16 catches, 133 yards. But he ruined Colorado State's last possession. If you saw it, that clothesline blindside block when he didn't have to, and the quarterback Fowler-Nicolosi went into the end zone for a potential game-tying touchdown. He threw an elbow, qualified as a blindside block, and that was essentially the end of the possession and the game for Colorado State.
Yeah, it was fight night at Folsom Field, in case you missed that, Dennis. That was we didn't get the memo that it turned out to be fight night. I mean, they were shoving pregame. We obviously know jabbing all week long about the hat and the sunglasses and adding fuel to the fire. And really, this game played out the way you kind of thought that it might in terms of the passion, right? Refueling this rivalry. They hadn't played since 2019. And you saw that with that hit to Travis Hunter. That was an absolutely dirty hit. And to me, I was surprised that wasn't called targeting in that moment, because later, Muhammad Kamara was disqualified for targeting on a late hit. It was almost like they were a makeup call.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right on both counts. That was absolutely a cheap shot by Blackburn against Travis Hunter. I don't understand why he wasn't taken out of the game. And then you mentioned it, Muhammad Kamara, who'd had a great game up to that point. He had an amazing game. I think he was the leading tackler for Colorado State. Had that targeting shot on Shedeur Sanders where if he had just raised his hands, he wrapped up after the pass got away, was thrown. If he had just thrown his hands up and not wrapped up, I don't think we would have had a targeting call, even though he took a shot to the head. I think it would have been dubious. But again, the unraveling. I thought that, coming into the game, Jay Norvell had gotten his guys ready. That showed with 500 yards in total offense, had the game well in hand in 28-17. But look, the legend continues. The legend of Shedeur Sanders, the legend of Deion Sanders. What are we going to hear in this post game tonight that's going to play all throughout the week with them now going to Oregon? And does anybody doubt that Colorado with Shedeur Sanders and that offense could go to Oregon and win a shootout just like they've done twice already this season?
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible game next week against Bo Nix and Oregon, a ranked-on-ranked matchup. That's going to be awesome. But I want to take you back to 2 minutes to play in the game. And you have been on the field for a 90-yard-plus drive. I have been on the field for a 90-plus yard drive. To put that into perspective, it's one of the most difficult things to do in all of sports. What you saw from Shedeur Sanders, that's Heisman legend stuff. Deion said post-game that he wasn't surprised. Just go out and do that. It's what he's seen his entire life. We have not seen that from Shedeur Sanders, but we saw that play out on this night. Give us the perspective of how difficult that was, 98-yard drive, to tie the game.
Well, Colorado State had played pretty good defense up to that point, and they chose, wisely or unwisely, to play the too high safety, sort of an umbrella all the way down the field. I think they might have brought a blitz once, maybe late in the drive. But, a lot of people say when you play prevent, the only thing you prevent is victory. And you still had to commit. You still had to make the plays, Hakeem. And we saw that time and time again on that last drive. I think he was 7 out of 10 for 112 yards. And that final touchdown to tie the game, or they had to get the 2-point conversion as well. Harrison, the tight end, had a fantastic game. But look, the kid's his blood is made of ice. He's going to be a pro. People were talking about him. He was recruited by Alabama coming out of high school, went to Jackson State, but nothing like this, where on a day, Hakeem, when these four quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams was off, but Michael Penix Jr., they have now combined in the Pac-12 for 41 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Pretty good in the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah, the Pac-12 has to feel pretty good. Maybe we should not disband. Teams who want to come back, hey, do you want to come back? And we're going to have a heck of a matchup next week with Colorado and Oregon, as we mentioned. There's a lot of people out there, right, that want to see Deion fail. There's a lot of detractors. There's a lot of people, though, that are on the bandwagon as well. There's a lot of people that love the flash and all of this pomp and circumstance of Deion and who he is and what he brings to the game of college football. Brings excitement. I mean, think about this, Dennis. No one's caring about a Colorado State game on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock Eastern that got pushed back to 10:30 after an upset win by Florida on their home field against Tennessee. But this is what Deion has done in one season. They won one game last season before he got to campus. What does this say about what he has done already in 3 games?
3 things, Hakeem. Number one, he's rewritten the book on how to coach college football. We've talked about it already, bringing in 60 new transfers. And not only that, getting them to play together and play at a high level. Number 2, I had a television executive tell me this week that in terms of brand power, that Colorado, because of Deion Sanders, is now on a par on television with Ohio State and Michigan. Roll that around in your head for a while. Wow. And then number 3, if Deion Sanders had been at Colorado a year ago, I think we all agree that the Pac-12 would still be around. Don't you? I mean, I think they would have gotten the money. Look what he's done to add value to this league. And it continues to be a shame that the league is breaking up. But it's, what are we in? I think year 154 of college football. Now it's getting to that point where it's one of those tentpole accomplishments in the history of the sport.
Yeah, it's incredible to see what he has done. 1-11 last season, off to a 3-0 start. I mean, this is incredible. Their first 3-0 start since 2020, and they win an epic game. The Rocky Mountain Showdown indeed. Who cares about the hat and sunglasses? What a win for Deion Sanders and his kids. And up next, a huge game on the road, their biggest test of the season to this point. They've had a couple of tests here, but this is going to be a big one as they go on the road to face Oregon next week. Big game, Dennis Dodd breaking down the big game from Boulder. Appreciate it.